Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about what is Ancestralite Crystal. But before we do that, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks so much. Okay, let's talk about this crazy crystal that seems to be very popular right now. This is an Ancestralite crystal. Now, Ancestralite is not actually a crystal. It's actually a fossil. So the calcium, boron, and oxygen make up the actual crystal part of it. And then you have the beryllium and the carbon that sort of fill in the holes of the crystal structure. Some of them can look like blades, some of them can look like spheres, and some of them can even look like octahedrons. It's said to aid in manifestation, and it's said to be a great crystal for meditation. So if you have some Ancestralite around you while you meditate, it can help you get into a meditative state faster, in different varieties and different trace minerals inside of it, and it can test positive for some of those trace minerals. I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, this one has a little inclusion inside of it, and it looks like a little eye. Look at that. That's kind of cool. When they test Ancestralite, it tests positive for strontium, and it also tests positive for beryllium. I hope this helped you out a little bit, and I hope you learned something about Ancestralite. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye. So, strontium is an alkaline earth metal, and it's used in fireworks and glassmaking. Beryllium is also used in glassmaking, and it's also used in aerospace and nuclear industries. Now, beryllium is toxic, and it can cause berylliosis, which can be fatal. But you're never going to be able to ingest enough beryllium from the Ancestralite to make you sick, so don't worry about that. It's just something interesting that I came across when I was researching Ancestralite. It's also said that it can help you connect with your ancestors, and it can help you learn from your past lives. There's also some people that say that it's good for enhancing psychic abilities and for developing your intuition. And it's also used as a protection stone. Now, Ancestralite is called by many different names. You'll see it called beryllium phosphate or beryllium borate. It's also called scorodite group 7.1. Some people call it wolfenite. Now, wolfenite is a completely different mineral, and it has a different chemical composition. So, wolfenite has lead and Ancestralite does not. So, if you're buying Ancestralite and it's coming from a reputable dealer, they should be calling it Ancestralite. If you see it labeled as wolfenate, that's probably not ancestrality. Now, sometimes you'll see it labeled as colorless fluorite. Now, fluorite is a completely different mineral, and it has nothing to do with Ancestralite. Fluorite is cubic. Ancestralite is not cubic. Fluorite has a different chemical composition. Again, they're totally different. So, if you're buying Ancestralite, just make sure it says Ancestralite. You don't buy it if it says anything else, because it's not going to be Ancestralite. Because of that, Ancestralite has a hardness of only 3.5 to 4 on the Mohs scale. So it's pretty soft. It's definitely not a gemstone. The density of this is only 1.2 grams per cubic centimeter. So this thing is very lightweight for its size. Now, because it's a relatively new discovery, there's not a lot of information out there on ancestrality. But when people are doing their research, they're finding that it's similar to apatite in some ways, like apatite. It's said to enhance manifestation, and it's said to help with abundance. Apatite is also said to be helpful in meditation, and ancestrality is too. So, that's why a lot of people think that ancestrality is going to be a good meditation stone. It also has a very low thermal conductivity, so it doesn't transfer heat well at all. So, if you touch this with your hands, it's going to feel cold to the touch, okay? And it's a relatively new discovery. They were only discovered in 2017 in Morocco. It's the pattern that you typically see in Ancestralite crystals. And this one looks like it has eyes. Doesn't this look like an eye to you? Kind of looks like a cyclops. This one's pretty cool too. Look at that. So there's not a lot of information out there on them. Some of them can be brown or black. This one's pretty cool. You can see the green in here, and it has these little white inclusions inside of it. Now, this was originally found in the Iraqi province in Morocco, and they're still mining it there. They haven't found any other deposits anywhere else in the world. So, it's a relatively new find, and again, not a lot of information is out there about it. They're relatively rare, and they come in different shapes and sizes. Most of them have these triangular growth marks on them, and they almost look like they have faces like a cut gemstone. These are just natural formations. They're not actually cut. These are completely natural, but they kind of look like they were cut. So Ancestralite is composed of calcium, beryllium, boron, carbon, and oxygen. And here's one that I really like. Look how cool that is. Here's another one. Just look at that. Let's look at those beautiful triangles. Now, Ancestrality comes in different colors depending on what trace minerals are inside of it. Most of them will have some green to them, has a vitreous to a silky luster, and it can display some pretty interesting crystal habits. Alright, let's get into the metaphysical properties of Ancestralite. It's said to help clear and activate the chakras. If you're wearing Ancestrality or you have it around your home, it's said to protect you from negative energies. Now, one thing that I would like to point out, apatite comes in different colors. Another thing that's interesting about Ancestralite is that it is transparent to translucent, and yet it has these opaque growth marks on it. Some people think that the reason that Ancestralite looks like it has these geometric growth marks is because the elements that make up Ancestralite are geometric. Now, Ancestrality is a relatively new crystal on the market, and there's not a lot of information out there on it. But since it has these boron atoms inside of it, some people think that it's going to be a good crystal for transformation. Boron is a very transformative element. It's also known as the element of transformation. So maybe that's why Ancestralite is such a good crystal for meditation and manifestation. Maybe it has something to do with that boron. Boron is also used in fiberglass and ceramics, and it's also used in borax and boric acid. You probably have boric acid in your home right now if you use any type of cleaners. Again, it's interesting that it has these different uses and it's a very transformative element. So maybe that's why Ancestralite is good for transformation. Alright, well that's all I have for you today.